Today's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Young women have been flown in and brought to there and when. It's increasingly likely, I would say, that other senior members of the royal family are going to have to also be interviewed by the police.
I got to tell you, this became very real for everybody. A lot of Americans weren't really paying attention until Prince Andrew was arrested. This is gigantic. Joining us on the Newsmax hotline is Hilary Fordwich, keynote speaker, contributor to Newsmax, GBN, Sky News. Hilary, welcome to the show. Thanks for taking the time today. I know you're bloody busy. My goodness, what do you have to...
Yes, absolutely. Always make time for you. Glad to be with you, but a ghastly topic.
I got to tell you, this is the biggest thing, and I don't want to compare the two, but since Princess Di's passing, this is the biggest story to come out of Great Britain in decades. This is unbelievable, and there are so many possibilities, so many implications. Go ahead.
Well, yes, you're absolutely right. And actually, since you raised Princess Diana, I will say one thing that reminded me of that era was when King Charles III finally, always better late than never, finally issued a statement saying, that he's wholeheartedly standing behind the police and their investigation, and that he wouldn't let anything come in between that. And what was very interesting about his statement is, one, he did not mention Andrew as a family member or my brother. He basically called him by his name, Andrew Windsor Mountbatten. And by the way, I think it's an insult to the Windsor Mountbatten name.
Yes,
but
yes.
Very interestingly, remember when the Queen had to come down from Balmoral because the very core of the monarchy was shaken because of the public outrage at her not coming and speaking and addressing Princess Diana's death. And this is like that. Always better late than never. And I would say this has Prince William's fingerprints all over it. He and Princess Catherine came out in support of it, but I think it's all come down to he has had zero tolerance for this since day one.
Hey, Hilary, we have some issues with your phone. It's kind of coming in and out.
It's people calling, trying to call me at different networks, but I'm just putting it on Do Not Disturb. My mistake. I'm on Do Not Disturb.
It just sounds a little muffled. It sounds a little muffled at times, but continue where you left off.
Yes, sorry about that. I apologize to our audience.
It's okay.
Yes, so this is like the Queen, who finally, it's always better late than never with the royal family. Really good that King Charles came out with a statement. But this is an existential threat to the monarchy because there is such public outrage at his behavior. You know what it reminds me of a little bit, though, Rob? It's like Al Capone, where, remember, there were dead bodies everywhere from the mafia, and they finally got him on tax evasion.
Yes.
Well, there's been obviously debauchery involved in this. We know that he brought women to Buckingham Palace because they were brought in under the code name of Mrs. Windsor. But I think Piers Morgan is totally right that there's going to be a lot of people. It comes down to who knew what when. But given my analogy there, remember, this is misuse in public office.
Yes.
And so what they're getting him on right now and investigating is his trade secrets and sharing trade secrets.
Yes.
So they're getting him on something else, but these Epstein files are going to bring it all together because that's where the documentation is, as well as people at the palace and royal protection officers across the entire establishment knowing more.
Wow.
Who knew what went where?
What unbelievable. So not only do you have trade secrets, all of this that he should not have been sharing that he did, also quantified, codified in the Epstein files is that he did engage in sexual activity with a minor, Virginia Giuffre. That's
yes,
on top of
it.
He is up Bleep Creek, just like the Potomac the last few weeks. I mean, this is gigantic. But this also is gonna, it sounds like, bring down the Starmer regime altogether. What are your when is that going to happen? Piers Morgan said this could happen within 3 months.
Well, two things here. One, I often think Piers Morgan's judgment is he's right on the mark there. I won't say, and I don't know what time frame, but I will say this. Keir Starmer appointed, Sir Keir Starmer, I hate using the word Sir for him or Lord for Lord Mandelson, but he appointed Lord Mandelson when he'd already had to resign twice. These photographs have come out with him standing, this is for our audience, the ambassador from the UK to the US. He appointed him as ambassador to the US after Mandelson had already had to resign twice for two other issues he was involved in. So, one of my dear friends is a former FBI very specialist, and he has said to me, he said, Hilary, anybody who's deviant with any kind of debauchery in one arena of their life, trust me, it shows up in other areas of their life.
Yes.
And this is in both instances. This is going to bring down, yes, Keir Starmer. Do I know when? No. Anyone who says they know exactly when,
yes, of course.
I don't think that they know.
Of course.
But Nigel Farage is waiting in the wings. So Keir Starmer politically has had to make a lot of U-turns on his policies, including cancelling recent elections, which he's had to institute. Many U-turns. Wow. So there's the U-turns. There's the scandals. There's the appointing this minister. And importantly, my second point was, these Epstein files, for our entire audience to remember, what has been revealed so far is less than the tip of the iceberg. They say that what is still going to come out, if you laid a piece of paper on top of each other, it would be the height of 2 Eiffel Towers still to come out.
Wow. So the royal family has been in Great Britain since its founding, essentially. Do you think that this could cause the royal family to no longer hold any charge in Great Britain? Do you suppose this would? I don't know how that could possibly happen.
Well, no. No. As it's always been said, they've lasted over 1,000 years.
Yes.
Before William the Conqueror. But importantly, it is an existential threat. Who knows what, where, and the royal family, but not Prince William. He has remained squeaky clean out of all of this and is of the highest moral standards. A very dear friend of mine who used to work for Princess Diana for 8 years, and in England it's called Equerry, in America it would be Chief of Staff. He once shared with me, he said, Prince William is all the best of both parents. Prince Harry is the worst of both parents. So Prince William has great morals, ethics, and values. Now, this is what the issue is. To your point and your question, Rob, it may come to the abdication of King Charles because of what he knew, what he did to help cover up in terms of the $2 million that he contributed to that money that went to Virginia Giuffre and other issues. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying that is on the table. Also his declining health, also his age, and the royal family is not stupid. His lack of popularity in the polls, whereas Prince William has remained at the top of the polls and he has the support of the British public. So if anything was to happen, I don't see it as the end of the monarchy, particularly because there's a very small percentage of members of the British public and the Commonwealth that actually want a republic. They're called, ironically, Republicans. They want to do away with the royal family. But I'll never forget, at King Charles's coronation, there was this box where they had lots of the politicians, and I'll never forget one of the English commentators said, when we look at that motley crew of politicians, we remind ourselves that we'd rather have a constitutional monarchy than a republic. So, who are you going to have head of state? Look what we've had to go through. It doesn't matter which president you support. That it's polarizing on either side. So, no, I don't think it's the abolition of the monarchy, but I do think it could result in abdication.
Well, my God, that is unbelievable. But I'll tell you, we are going through the same throes, I think, the United States and Great Britain to some degree, with a baptism by fire that had to happen to keep the republic going. We have uncovered ungodly rot in our government. We know that there were Epstein involvees here, but we also know there's massive fraud. We have the same things happen with our borders and our sovereignty and all of this, and it looks like we are going through what is potentially a rebirth of both nations. And I think for the better. I don't think that the United States could survive another 250 years had we not, and we aren't going through, this baptism by fire. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, and I think we have to look at math here. If you look at members of the Muslim faith, this is just a fact. This is no commentary. This is nothing subjective. Yes. This is a fact. They breed 8 to 1.
Yes.
No society, no civilization has ever survived when the birth rate is lower than 2 to 1, which it currently is in the Western Europe and in the U.S. So that is an existential threat to the United States. Which is why, as you know, I'm always very wary where people want to talk about God and have God in our society and everything, because which God are we talking about? And that is a threat. And also, in quotes, the deep state. I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but I do think from this Epstein scandal, what it's going to do at the highest levels, by the way, on both sides of the aisles, across the spectrum, we're going to see many, many, many heads roll. And I think we're looking at not just the U.S., but the whole of the Western world being shaken. And it's amazing who is going to be brought down by this. I believe you're going to see governments and monarchies brought down by this.
Hilary, I got to tell you, it is almost too much to take in, but I'm so glad that you were able to join us today. I know you're very busy. I appreciate your expertise more than you'll ever know. Hilary Fordwich on Twitter, where else can people find your great work?
They can book me as a keynote speaker. Hilary Fordwich, you can always find me, and my company's Stromart, but Hilary Fordwich, just Google me and you'll find my company comes up. Love to speak, love to share my knowledge on this and business development and growth. I used to head global business development for KPMG, and I can help people grow their company.
I love it. Well, we appreciate you so much. God bless Great Britain, and I know that we're all going to come out the better on the other side. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Thank you, Robert.
Purchase message to
football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't.
That's right.
Feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less
Midnight
testosterone.
in the Garden of Good and Evil.
That's why I take Nugenics Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2
form of Prince Andrew.
in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text RULE to 215215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenics Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenics Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text RULE 5215. That's RULE to 215215. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Me, Stephen Friedman. At the law offices of Michael A. Friedman, we do what we really love, the practice of law. Beginning in my younger days, when I tagged along with my dad in courtrooms, I always wanted to be that lawyer arguing his case, whether it was for a client's freedom or for a fair monetary compensation for injuries. Today, there is no greater feeling than assisting a client in getting his or her life back after a serious motor vehicle accident. Getting the client back on the road for a car rental, providing appropriate medical care, assuring recovery for wage loss, and most important, assuring a pain and suffering award that accurately reflects the loss suffered by the client. That's our goal in every case. So if you or a loved one have been injured by a negligent party, I invite you to call us at 410-363-6848 for a free no-obligation consultation. And of course, there is never a fee if no recovery. The law offices of Michael A. Friedman, representing injury victims for over 35 years.
MaidPro, how can I help you today?
Oh my gosh, I called the wrong maid service, and now I'm in very deep trouble with my wife.
MaidPro's here to help.
And he's one that's professional. Take the job seriously, don't want it.
All MaidPro cleaners are background checked, bonded and insured, and are professionally trained in MaidPro University. MaidPro's 49-point checklist ensures that every cleaning is perfect every time.
Brother of the king of this country. I know it sounds preposterous, but that is the current state of play. Now, I think it's
MaidPro.com. MaidPro, squeaky clean celebrity voice impersonator.
Do you own a business?
So this might just be the tipping point of a gigantic scandal which represents, I would argue, an existential threat to the monarchy itself. And what, where and when, it's increasingly likely, I would say, that other senior members of the royal family who knew what, where and when.
Your account executive at WCBM is an expert in creating a customized campaign that will deliver results. Visit WCBM.com or call to get started on your advertising campaign today.
The Sean Hannity Show.
CEO of Zillow has just said that if illegal immigrants have to go back home, that will
probably only keep Charbonne for one break because I got so much shit to get to today, okay?
Lower prices and make it more affordable. Donald Trump will get the economy in a better spot and interest rates go down. That's going to make a home more affordable. This is what we've sadly taken as a new normal. It doesn't have to be this way.
Sean Hannity, weekdays 3 to 6 on Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
Be sure to listen to Safe Retirement Solutions Radio here on WCBM
probably will do one break today just
every
because of so much
Thursday from
stuff on the
6
plate,
till 7 and every Saturday from 11 till
We'll
noon.
see, period. I apologize.
Here on
I've got a lot of things I need to
WCBM,
get
off
to.
your tuchus and listen.
Please learn to listen.
Listen for the news at the top of the hour and again at the bottom of the hour. Then back to the top for more.
That's why it's important you listen to us.
Listen for the news on Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to Newsmax.com/listen for details.
You know, it's increasingly likely, I would say, that other senior members of the royal family are going to have to also be interviewed by the police. So this might just be the tipping point of a gigantic scandal, which represents, I would argue, an existential threat to the monarchy itself. It is that serious.
That is Piers Morgan talking about Prince Andrew being arrested, a royal family member arrested. This is it's a big deal. I know. Listen, I don't usually give a rat's behind about the royal family. I'm probably a typical guy, but this is really, really, really big. And what we're witnessing is an exposition of evil that has overtaken the world to some degree. I mean, really. You know, I told you that that the last election, the 2024, was the opposite reaction to the reaction of evil that had overtaken the world. And right now, as I've told you, the Democrat Party is in its death throes, dying like movie vampires, trying to drag us into the pits of hell with it. This is happening all over the place, and it looks like it's happening in Great Britain. Here is Piers Morgan talking about Keir Starmer, who apparently is going to be gone as a prime minister, which would be the best thing that happened to Great Britain in a very long time.
Yeah, I think he's a political dead man walking. I mean, and it's all centered around what happened with Lord Mandelson, and the short version of that scandal is that Mandelson, who had twice previously lost government jobs, was brought back by Keir Starmer last year to become the UK ambassador to the United States. And it was revealed last week in the Prime Minister's Questions, the weekly public debate you see in the House of Commons between the Prime Minister and the opposition leader. Keir Starmer admitted that before he made that appointment, he had been told that Mandelson had maintained an ongoing friendship and relationship with Epstein.
Yeah, and then there's this. Remember Virginia Giuffre, young woman who was repeatedly raped while in the captivity of Jeffrey Epstein, who ultimately killed herself.
Well, not only was that picture of him with Virginia Giuffre and Ghislaine Maxwell genuine, because Ghislaine Maxwell confirms that in leaked emails, but we also know that from Epstein, from a leaked email a few days ago, that he had sex with Virginia Giuffre, because Epstein reveals that in some correspondence. So all the statements that Andrew made in that interview have now been proven to be lies, and I think that he spun the same lies to his mother. But King Charles has seen that these were lies, realizes that Andrew was lying, realized the severity of this scandal and the potential danger to the monarchy itself. You know, Ainsley and I, we've done a lot of stuff together in the UK, a big royal event.
Yeah, it looks like King Charles could be out. William would take over. I mean, it is gigantic. It is just wow. I mean, honestly, just wow. I'm going to move on to other stuff because we got a million things to get to today, including, did you hear about this yesterday? I don't know if you knew this, but yesterday there was a big meeting. It was a Black History Month celebration. And the Oval Office and the White House were populated by black people. because it was, it is Black History Month. And I was kind of amazed, actually. There was a line outside the White House. All of these people, hundreds and hundreds of people. It was a celebratory, joyous occasion. And I wonder how in the hell they got in without an ID. Honestly, the Democrat Party says black people can't get an ID. I guess, did they waive the IDs yesterday? Is that the deal, what happened? Or is the Democrat Party just freaking racist out of their minds? I've got a terrific woman who was introduced yesterday at the White House. And her grandson was killed in Washington, D.C. a few years ago. And she got up to speak yesterday, and I'm just going to let this roll. For everybody who called Donald Trump a racist, you are nothing but racist.
One thing I like about him, he keeps it real just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over.
Come on.
Because he allowed his constituents, his people to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched. I rallied. I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats. Get mad at me.
Yep.
Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district.
It is.
If you kill somebody.
It has.
Okay. You take a life, you do life. Just that simple.
Come on.
If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on.
Yes, he did.
I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news, hating on me.
It around. Here's a glorious woman named Allison who was in jail, and Donald Trump gave her a second chance.
President Donald Trump brought me from the prison pit to the White House. Only in America could there be a story like my story. And President Trump is the only president who would have had the courage to bring someone like me, someone who received a second chance, but who knows more than someone who has sit among the captives, than someone who has been in captivity themselves.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. Here's a woman of color and a small business owner.
As a small business owner, I understand how critical support is. I understand that you have to have the right people that make the right policies for us as small business owners. So no tax on tips has been an extremely blessing for me and my business. President Trump has been an amazing blessing for me. Thank you.
There you go. It is remarkable, and the Democrat Party is dying in such an ugly fashion. They are just lashing out, they're name-calling, they're hissing like demons. That's the way they are. Yesterday on Capitol Hill, they're talking about a trans day, or and they're doubling down on mutilating children for life. In the meantime, you had this glorious meeting and a rebirth of America's inner cities, where kids will finally be able to ride their bikes and go out and hang out and not be murdered. My God, Democrat Party, you are in for such a whooping in the midterms. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I don't know. Is he deal is with the goddamn stream.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain. Over time, it just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? Hey guys, it's Carson for Shopify. For years I have had a swag line of t-shirts with catchy phrases and whatnot, and it's just been lying there. Well, I've decided to go with Shopify and actually make money with my own business. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates you can customize to match your brand instead of just having a lousy website that nobody notices like I have been doing for years. Set up fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at Shopify.com/Newsmax. Go to Shopify.com/Newsmax. Make building a successful business your 2026 New Year's resolution. beauty, way to go. Yes, the only person that we introduced with that song is Michael Charbon, the host of the Charbon Report live from Canada. Hello, Michael Charbon. How are you on this glorious Thursday?
Very good, Rob Carson. Great show. Nice piece with the topic of the Royals over there. Lots of things happening in the news today, Rob.
This obviously impacts Canada a good deal because you have influence by the British monarchy and the British government. What is the buzz up there today, seeing the shock of a royal being arrested, for God's sake?
Disappointment. It gives fodder to those who hate the monarchy, and disappointed and an upsetness for anything. The royals were always held in great esteem. It was something of a tradition in Canada. We respect the royals, many do, but this is an unfortunate circumstance that reveals that money and power sometimes think that they can circumvent the law, and I think we're going to see the law coming into effect here. So it's very disappointing. It's not what you want to hear. It's very disappointing that the royal family can be as corrupt as the government. That's essentially what it is. Well, I mean, the British government, I mean, look at what trouble they're in. I mean, the UK now with immigration, with their people all in unrest, this is the last thing that they need to add fodder to this. So and also there's a possibility, it sounds like Keir Starmer is a dead man walking, which would be great for Great Britain if he falls and Nigel Farage takes over. Must-see TV tonight, dude. I'm normally not a big women's hockey fan, but dang, this should be a lot of fun to watch. U.S. Olympic team versus Canada for the gold. Thus far, by the way, the U.S. team has defeated its opponents in the Olympics 31-1. So there's that. What do you think? So my friend, who is the two-time gold medalist, she's an Olympic winner. She's a play-by-play of the PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League, and she's a commentator for the Olympic hockey, and her name's Cheryl Pounder. She was on the Canadian team. She said, and I think she said it best, Canada is the underdog, but Team USA is the hunted. That's really the way it is. Both of the games to qualify, both Canada and U.S. went to overtime. And if you think way back in 1989, Rob, it was the Nagano Games. That was the first time women's hockey was there. And the gold medal was U.S. versus Canada, and it was Cami Granado who won it. So U.S. won it the first one. And the amazing thing is there were no biological males on either team. It's going to be remarkable. You know, I knew you were going to come and say something like that. I think there are people who believe in the rights of those who believe that they are a different gender. But when it comes to playing sports, men cannot play in women's sports. I don't really see too many women transitioning to men who are playing rugby and others. So I think it's pretty obvious that there's always been that thorn in one side. And yes, these women are professional women. They're lawyers, doctors, mothers, they're everything. So it's absolutely thrilling to see this. And it's wonderful for our youth as well to be able to look up female-wise to a sport like hockey and soccer, which is another one which is come aboard, that we can get our children out to compete and do some physical activity instead of sitting there on their computers all the time. And don't forget also how ungodly expensive it is to have a hockey kid. There is that too. Well, living in Canada, we're very much aware of that. If you belong to a rep team, it can cost you between $5,000 and $7,000 just for what you need for, and that's Canadian, so that's probably worth about $2,000 American. So you know, it comes down to a lot of money and a lot of time. But I'll tell you, my daughter was involved in dance. And it was much better to see her going to dance competitions than hanging out at malls and getting into trouble. Exactly. Sports is definitely a wonderful thing. It looks like the U.S. men's team won last night in overtime, and I wonder if there could be a U.S. men versus Canada for the gold. That could be pretty wild, and I don't know. It would be pretty interesting to see both of these matchups for gold. Yeah, the women's game is taking place at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and the men still have semifinals to go. U.S. is playing Slovakia, and Canada is playing Finland. The winners of those two games will go on to the gold medal round. Wow. Canada just squeaked by with their game last. So I will tell you that it's going to be a fight. But the American Olympic men's hockey team is looking very strong, and I got to love their captain because he's a former Maple Leaf. So
there you go.
Leave it at that.
There you go. What about this Gordie Howe International Bridge? I haven't really spoken much about this. What's the rigmarole regarding this?
So they were building another bridge. It's called the Gordie Howe International Bridge, and it's to take the pressure off the Ambassador Bridge. I mean, if you think, Rob, there's like $1 billion.
Remind everybody where it is. Hold on. Remind everybody where it is.
Yes, this is from Detroit to Windsor, Ontario.
Okay, there you go.
And basically, it goes over what's the river? It's Detroit, Michigan. Over the it's a critical pressure there. But the whole point is the trade between Windsor and Canada, and Windsor, Canada, and Detroit is like $1 billion a day. Yeah. So they built this thing called the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Canada paid like $6.4 billion towards the project.
Yep.
And the guy who owns the Ambassador Bridge, who will probably see a little less traffic, got the ear of President Trump, and I think gave him some false facts, which President Trump ill-advised reported, saying that there was the reality was there was Canadian steel, Canadian workers, American steel, and American workers, and it's really going to benefit both of us.
Yeah.
And I had one other thing which was really interesting about U.S. stocks.
Yeah.
The Canadian pension plan, this is a huge thing. They've got $780 billion invested for Canadian pension plans.
Yeah.
Ready for this, Rob?
What?
47% of it is U.S. investment.
Wow.
That means when the stocks go up in America, Canadians are making money.
Love it.
Can you believe that?
Dude, can you believe? I mean, look at the stock market. It's about 50,000, and it's not going to stop. And I mean, amazing things are happening in the economy right now. I'm glad this will benefit Canada, because you've got to do something to get past your horrible premier until Mr. Poilievre can assume the helm up there. One other thing, Alberta Prosperity Project working to hold a referendum on separating Alberta from Canada. Is this gaining traction, and is there a possibility?
There's 5 million people who live in Alberta. They need 178,000 signatures to put the question on a ballot to ask Albertans if they wish to separate. I'm going to tell you right now, the problem with the Liberals is they ostracize the oil and gas people in the West.
Yep.
They put undue taxes and things on them. There is an undercurrent of upsetness, and this can be dangerous.
Yep.
There was actually, interesting enough, there were some people from Alberta who met with officials of the United States, not officially, but unofficially.
Yep.
But as Bissett said, Canada's Alberta is what Texas is to the United States.
Wow,
so
unbelievable.
Oil, there's a connection there.
Unbelievable. Well, Michael Charbonne, I appreciate it. Hey, bro, it's a very busy news day. Where can people find the Charbonne Report and all your glorious work?
Thank you very much for asking. I'm on Newsmax every Sunday on the John Glasgow Show. You can also find me at michaelacharbonne.com and the Charbonne Report on YouTube.
All right,
Thanks,
brother.
Rob.
Thank you, my brother. We'll talk soon. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Hey, listen, are you...
I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him.
Wow.
And Grandma said it.
Felicia Cook, yesterday at the White House, saying enough with this racist crap, calling Donald Trump a racist. Because, honestly, I said years ago, decades ago, that sooner or later, that this racist cry is going to be like crying wolf. And it is finally, I really think some major things are happening with the African-American community. We waited a very long time since Lyndon Johnson, put in the Great Society, which destroyed the black family. Destroyed it. And then Democrats have stood over the body piles of young black men, particularly in America's inner cities. And now you heard this guy yesterday in Memphis. His boys can go out and ride on bikes in the neighborhood. They can hang out outside. Same way here in Anacostia and some other neighborhoods in Washington, D.C. They're safe again. We've waited our entire lives for this. Here is Donald Trump yesterday for Black History Month.
We now have a country that's bigger, better, greater than ever before. I want to thank all my secretaries and all of the people that came here. Our military leaders are here. We have a lot of people that are here, and I want to thank you all. But
I don't know how they got in without an ID.
This is a very special group of people. So happy Black History Month, happy Black History Year, and happy Black History Century.
And nobody there was demanding reparations. Isn't that amazing? Nobody was demanding reparations. They were optimistic and happy and joyous because it finally got a president of the United States who's doing what he said he would do. Unbelievable. Then there's Caroline Levitt yesterday. She was asked by some jackweed, I think it was from CBS, basically saying, I don't think Donald Trump has ever been called a racist. Just wait.
Question. And yesterday in his statement about Jesse Jackson, the president said, despite the fact that I'm falsely and consistently called a racist by the scoundrels and lunatics on the radical left, Democrats all, it was always my pleasure to help Jesse along the way. Where or when does the president believe he's been falsely called racist?
Now, that is CBS's Ed O'Keefe, who had the audacity to say something so ungodly stupid.
You're kidding, right? I will pull you a plethora of examples. I'm going to get my team in that room to start going through the internet of radical Democrats throughout the years, Ed, who have accused this president falsely of being a racist. And I'm sure there's many people in this room and on network television across the country who have accused him of the same. In fact, I know that because I've seen it with my own eyes.
And because we've heard it for a freaking decade. Want some examples? I'll do the heavy lifting here, Caroline.
He is a thin-skinned racist bully.
He has been racist.
There has never been a president in American history who's been as so openly racist.
A racist in chief.
The president oftentimes resorts to very bigoted, xenophobic, Islamophobic, racist rhetoric.
Yeah, it's a joke. Give me a frickin' break. But here's the former press secretary of the White House, who was a DEI hire, who can't get over race. She did a terrible job she was a joke as the press secretary. I mean, honestly, the worst ever.
Karine, do you have any regrets at all for anything that you said while you were speaking on behalf of this administration? It's a simple yes or no.
Yeah, yes or no question.
No, because you're asking for a yes or no question.
How's it going to bring race into that?
Put some context to it, too. I woke up every day. Very proud to be the White House press secretary.
Yeah, why?
I woke up every day as a Black woman who is queer, who no one had ever seen someone like me at that podium standing behind that lectern. It was an honor and a privilege to have that job. And I did it to the best of my abilities.
Wow, which means your abilities completely suck, and you have none. I mean, wow, just wow. Also, a big announcement yesterday, Ben Carson, I know it's going to be hard to believe, not related. I've actually talked to him about this on air. I was for sure we were blood relatives, but apparently DNA testing has disproven that. Had a big announcement on Ben Carson, the racist Donald Trump.
Ben's getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can have outside of the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Have you noticed the Democrats stopped using Uncle Tom every time a black person became a Republican or agreed with the president? Did you notice that? It was that all the time. They're not saying it anymore.
But it's better because, a lot of people get the Congressional Medal of Honor. They're not around. You get them, they're not around. Whereas we don't have to go that far, generally speaking.
This is just wonderful.
But it's the highest award, civilian. And then you have the matching is the Congressional Medal of Honor, both tremendous. So, Ben, I'll be seeing you back here pretty soon, I think, and you're going to get the award. You'll probably fill up this room. I said, we'll do it in the Oval Office. He said, sir, it's not big enough. I said, what? So we're going to do it right here, okay?
Oh, my goodness. My goodness. A couple of things have happened this week that assert what I've said. We had Chris Cuomo say, and I've been saying, 80% of us believe the country's headed in the wrong direction. 80% of us will came together to save her. Right now, you got 80% of the Democrat Party, I think still at least kind of cares for America, and 20% are bat guano nuts. They're the people who are in government, who want open borders, who want to keep the gravy train of fraud, and they want to enrich their friends forever and all of this, and they're down with all this transgender nonsense. They're nuts. That's 20%, 80-20. Chris Cuomo agreed. I said that the last couple of years, and now this. I said, how are we going to win? Overwhelm the left with joy and patriotism. I'll handle the mockery, ridicule, and satire and let Donald Trump handle the butt-kicking. Laura Ingraham agreed with me on joy and patriotism.
Let's keep deflating the Democrats' tired attacks and do it with joy, optimism, and how about the pursuit of happiness?
There you go. That's what we got to do. They are dying like movie vampires. We just need to drive a stake in their heart. There you go. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the streaming issues. What's going on, people? Sport Tech, Grandma, Tom K, Janine, what happened? You guys are busy over there on the rumbly roof. I'm trying to load YouTubeage here. What's going on with YouTubeage? Rob Carson Show. Not sure. So I'll go over to X. Say hi to everybody on X. How's it going, kids? Facebook. Who's watching on Facebook? A lot of people watching on Facebook, including Squall White. I haven't talked to you in a while. Squall White, Vicky, Chris, Dale Arsenault, all of that stuff. Welcome to the show, Donna Innes Lambert. Good to see you there. Proud of you, Perchet. All of you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Stream's growing, getting bigger. Although it's kind of been, I think it's kind of been populated by poop, like the Potomac. It's slowing down our stream. Maybe that's it. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe we had a sewage spill that's causing our stream to slow down a little bit. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I'm glad to have you guys here. We got a ton of stuff to get to. I'm gonna do this next. Joy and patriotism. Remember when the Democrats tried to convince us about joy? Remember that? Democrats, joy. And everybody knew it was bullcrap. So let me see this. I'm gonna grab this soundbite here real quick. Joy. Hold on, not Joy Reid. I've got a lot of sound bites that I use, and I have a lot of stuff saved up, and so I have to occasionally dig montage. Oh, here we go.
The one thing.
Yeah, here we go. All righty. You guys ready? Here we go.
3.5 here.
Okay.
The one thing that I will not forgive them for is they're trying to steal the joy from this country.
The joy felt by Americans backing the Harris Walls ticket.
We are joyful warriors.
Being joyful is part of the American identity.
The Joy Factor campaign of joy.
That fell flat. You know why? Because the Democrat Party is not joyous. They're awful people. They are screeching. They're calling ICE now the new police. They want to defund ICE. They called Donald Trump racist. They called the Republicans fascist. Ended up on shell casings of people murdered, including Charlie Kirk. The word fascist showed up. The Democrat Party is an ugly, ugly shell of if it was ever anything good. It is absolutely atrocious. Sarah Huckabee Sanders was talking about the 2028 and 2026. And I've said about 2026, the Democrats have nothing to run on. They've lost the affordability thing because their economy is roaring. They've lost the southern border. They've been wrong about everything. And Donald Trump is kicking butt.
They're not doing a great job in many cases running their own states. Those who were in the previous administration don't have a good story to tell. They tanked our economy. The president now is cleaning up a lot of the messes from the Biden-Harris administration. Chaos around the world, an economy that left so many people hurting, unable to afford basic necessities. And now we finally have a president who's putting us on the right track, leading from the top. What is their message when they're going into these places? The only thing that they have to say is, we don't like Donald Trump. Well, that's not a winning message. That's not going to help propel them. They need to fix a lot of the problems they have.
They have nothing to stand on. They're promising that they'll keep transgenderizing children. That's one of the things they'll keep on promising. And they're promising that they're going to, defund ICE and make our border insecure again, among other things, and stop the deportation of illegals. Here's Sarah Huckabee Sanders on the possibility of Kamala Harris. She's leading in the polls right now for 2028. Her and then Gavin Newsom. I know.
I actually think that's great news. If Kamala Harris is the best person that the Democrats can run again, I think 28 is looking really good for Republicans. We're going to come off of an administration where our economy is strong. The president has ended 8 wars and continues to bring stability around the world. He is doing things that actually matter, that actually impact the people living in this country.
And by the way, it looks like he's done with Iran. It sounds like the pieces are above the puzzle are coming together. The Ayatollah, if the people of Persia are freed, it will be an unbelievably historic day. Also today, on Newsmax, 4 o'clock Eastern, Donald Trump's doing a major speech on the economy, okay? So make sure to go to Newsmax, get the Newsmax app, go to, it's on YouTube, by the way, YouTube TV, Newsmax on YouTube TV, it's on satellite TV, all of that. Watch Newsmax today at 4, major speech on Trump's economy by Donald Trump. Do not watch it anywhere else other than Newsmax. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. It's only going to get better. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
Hangout.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, number 2 hour. By the way, I wasn't talking about the Potomac River. Number 2, wow, 300 million gallons of sewage. We're going to cover that story very shortly. It's interesting because Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, who is more concerned about possibly becoming the president of the United States. I don't think he ever will because he's not that smart. Kind of like Gavin Newsom. He's like a DEI Gavin Newsom. He says that no, that's the federal government's problem right there. Well, why is Muriel Bowser asking for federal help if it is it's the purview of the federal government? Why should you have to ask the federal government for help in your district or your state if the federal government is supposedly in charge of it? So there's that. This little observation I made, because, I kind of observe stuff. That's what I do. Kaitlin Bennett's going to be joining us very shortly. She's a young influencer. She doesn't like the word influencer, but she's awesome. She does woman on the street stuff, and today's is like, wow. She confronted some bat guano crazy leftists about abortion. One guy actually said he loves abortion so much he wishes his mother would have aborted himself. I mean, it's crazy. So we'll talk to her at the bottom of the hour. She's always good. Former Secretary of State, thank God, Hillary Clinton claimed that she met Jeffrey Epstein and associate Ghislaine Maxwell on a few occasions despite widespread reporting. Be careful when you say that around Ghislaine Maxwell. Widespread reporting that Maxwell attended Chelsea Clinton's wedding. And played a substantial role in the Clinton Global Initiative, one of the President Bill Clinton's signature post-White House endeavors. Hillary says the Clinton Global Initiative have saved millions of lives. I know. No, not one. I'd like to see one, actually. Justice Department released its latest tranche of documents related to the late Epstein, which revealed that Ghislaine Maxwell played a significant role in the Clinton orbit of politics. No kidding. And we knew this because the Clintons have been lying about everything forever. Forever. Maxwell arranged to wire $1 million to pay publicists for its work on the Clinton project. The New York Times noted that the source of the payments remains unclear and if Epstein provided the funds. Ms. Maxwell's involvement in the launch of the Clinton Global Initiative took place in 2004 before Mr. Epstein's 2006 indictment and 2008 guilty plea. Of course, we've also seen that Bill Clinton flew on the Lolita Express 27 times and was featured in the Epstein files in a hot tub with someone presumably who is a little young.
What was your reaction when you saw some of the material that has been released? I'm thinking, for example, of images of your husband apparently in a hot tub in a swimming pool on Epstein's plane. What was your reaction to that? And it wasn't a hot tub on a plane.
Yeah, well, we know that because you really can't have a hot tub on an airplane because, the starting and the stopping and the splashing and all that. So, but go ahead and answer the question.
It was one of the stops they made to look at philanthropic and charitable work.
Philanthropic? That's what he's part about, philanthropy. That's what he does.
That my husband has done, saving literally millions of lives around the world.
Yeah, those Haitians, certainly built some soccer stadiums or something down there.
It turned out that was done long before there was any public awareness and certainly any conviction.
Well, he did fly on the plane. Here's another Hillary Clinton denying any connection, even though Ghislaine Maxwell was at Chelsea's wedding.
We have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which
your record has never been clear.
My husband has said he took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work. I don't recall ever meeting him. Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell? I did on a few occasions. And thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it to me is not something that is really at the heart.
And just because the Clintons have been lying their entire lives doesn't mean they're lying this time. Sure. This is Jim Gossett as Bill Clinton.
With Epstein, I often used to hang before I left his place. I went out with a bang, Jeffrey invited me. And I would go again, was in a hot tub on the island of sin. Hilary said it was philanthropy. That was her way of covering for me with stupid claims like that. We're never gonna win was in a hot tub on the island of sin. You'd think my wife would be filled with rage because the gals down there, they were underage. You see, a caring spouse Hilary has never been was in a hot tub on the island of sin.
There you go. That is brand new from Jim Gossett. And by the way, that's on his Patreon page today. And every day it does a couple song parodies for him. We got another one coming up here, a new one today that I'll play very shortly. But go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy, and support Jim Gossett if you would. He's a brilliant man. He's a brilliant man. I worked with Shanklin at Limbaugh's show. Nothing against Shanklin. Shanklin would do a song parody every couple weeks. Jim does 2 a day. He's a dynamo. He's unbelievable. So there you go. Gold is about $5,000 today. It crept over $5,000. So it's gone up, $600 in the last couple of weeks. It peaked at about $5,600, then dropped, and then everybody sold. A lot of people did a little profit taking. Right now, here it is. It's already back above $5,000. I'd get on board if I were you. Gold thrives during times of uncertainty, which is why it is a crucial part of a balanced strategy. All right? 401k, IRA, all that stuff. If you got an underperforming IRA or 401k or money in savings, for God's sake, why is it just sitting in savings? You're not making any money on that. You're not making any money on that. Turn it into gold. It's not that hard. All you have to do is text my name, Rob, to 989898. You're going to get the ball rolling on a free gold info kit, no obligation. And they'll give you an idea of how easy it is. They'll give you, you can choose your metals, whether you want gold, whether you want silver, whatever. A+ rating for the BBB. Tens of thousands of happy customers, including, this guy right here. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold, 989898 for Birch Gold. So, the Democrat Party is intellectually and morally bankrupt. They have been forever. They have nothing to run on. Donald Trump's making the economy roar. He's got a speech today on Newsmax at 4 Eastern. Don't miss it. It's going to be a good one. But the Democrat Party, as the country turns away from the horror of child gender transition therapy and surgery, which is a horror. The whole world is turning against it. It is Mengele-esque medicine, as in Joseph Mengele. And here's what the Democrat Party's doing. This is Ed Markey yesterday on Capitol Hill talking about the trans damn rights.
We're going to fight every single day to put trans rights into the law of our country, because trans rights are human rights.
They already have rights. I mean, they have the same dang rights, the LGBTQIA rights. He's talking about surgery.
And that's why my colleagues and I have laid out a simple yet powerful truth in the Trans Bill of Rights.
Trans Bill of Rights.
Trans people have the right to live free from discrimination.
Yeah, that's already covered.
Trans people have the right to live free from violence.
They keep saying that all these trans people are being attacked violently. Why aren't we seeing it in the news at all?
And trans people have the right to live free from government intrusion into their bodies and into
now you can do whatever you want as long as you're over 18 years old.
Their lives.
Yeah.
Our resolution affirms the right to gender-affirming health care.
Yeah. See, they can't say it. They can't say that little boys get their penises and testicles cut off, and then an artificial vagina that is, problematic at the least. Hormone therapy, and then with girls, fashioning a faux phallus made with skin from their arm or leg that dangles between their legs like an ear waiting for transplant. Yeah, that's trans rights, yeah.
The right to accurate identity documents. The right to fully participate in school, in work, and in public life, just like anyone else.
Here we go. They're making up an issue that doesn't really exist. I think Pramila Jayapal, you should be Jay-appalled by her, actually. Here she is talking about the Trans Day.
To trans people everywhere, I also want you to know.
I think this is a winning issue.
Know this.
No, it's about a 95-5 issue.
Those people are threatened
No.
by your strength.
Oh, okay. She's talking about us. We're threatened by the strength of people who decide they're the opposite gender.
By your joy in being fully who you are.
Generally, when kids demand that they become transgendered, they'll tell their parents, If you don't let me, I'll kill myself. So I don't think the joy is really not happening.
Those who fight against trans people are just jealous.
We're not fighting against you. We just don't want kids to go through the mutilative surgery.
Of the freedom that they have taken to be fully who they are.
Wow, projection.
And so those people just want to destroy that rather than imagine what it would be like to be fully who they are.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Wow, blah, 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 blah. I mean, really, wow, you people are so friggin' ridiculous. Really, really ridiculous. And then, by the way, this is kind of funny, because here is AOC saying, the party that is absolutely obsessed with sex and sexuality, all right? Absolutely obsessed with it. The party that for the last 20 years has said that masculinity is toxic. And if you're a girl and you're unhappy, chances are you ought to become a boy. The same party that said boys can become girls and beat the snot out of girls and girls sports. I mean, unbelievable. Here she is saying that conservatism, asserting one's masculinity or femininity, is somehow poisoning a younger generation.
And they are able to radicalize and target and exploit a generation of young...
This is what you've done to kids, for God's sake. You got classrooms walking out to protest ICE.
Boys, in particular, away from healthy masculinity and into an
Here's their idea of healthy masculinity. Stop it.
Secure masculinity that requires the domination of others who are poorer, browner,
poorer and browner. It's racist, of course, yeah.
Darker or a different gender than them.
Oh, my God.
And that is why they are resonating online, because they are appealing.
No, they're appealing to common sense. And you are, I told you, movie vampires, right? No, just lashing out every direction. No idea what. Now they're saying that we're boys. We're GOP is poisoning the minds of boys to hate brown boys, I guess. What the hell? Honestly, again, this is not getting in well for the Democrat Party, and it's almost kind of funny to watch if it weren't so bloody dangerous. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
With Epstein, I often used to hang before I left his place. I went out with a bang, Jeffrey invited me. And I would go again, was in a hot tub on the island of sin. Hilary said it was philanthropy, that was her way of covering for me with stupid claims like that. We're never gonna win, was in a hot tub on the island of sin. You'd think my wife would be filled with rage because the gals down there, they were underage. You see, a caring spouse Hilary has never been, was in a hot tub on the island of sin.
They're gonna find election fraud down in Fulton County. Looking at 2020, when the steal took place. After it is proven, Bonnie Willis will look stupid. Brian Kemp and Ratzenberg will not show their face. That Watermain break, yes, it was a total fake. Suitcases with ballots everywhere. Kemp was so weak he went and turned the other cheek. About the fraud he didn't seem to care. Democrats aren't known for playing fair.
What you talking about, Willis?
They're gonna find election fraud down in Fulton County.
Radio 680 WCBM.
Get a little rejoin here.
Dig it.
Voter ID.
Oh, yes.
Who would not want voter ID? Only somebody that wants to cheat.
Yeah, pretty much. And yesterday there was a marvelous, glorious meeting for Black History Month in the White House, and it was black people, and I was marveling that they were all able to get through without an ID, because the Democrat Party, what a marvelous history. What a marvelous history of slavery, Jim Crow, Great Society, and presiding over the absolute destruction of the black nuclear family, the disintegration of black culture in America's inner cities, 70+% abortion rate, 80% fatherless homes, dependency, resentment, promising some sort of reparations that will never come. It is remarkable, the Democrat Party. Unfortunately, some people are waking up and saying, enough. Honestly, enough. It is enough. So, Kansas legislature just overrode the Democrat governor's veto that enacted a law, and this bans men from women's restrooms. Finally, the governor's like, no, men ought to be able to girls' rooms, and girls ought to go into boys' room, and all that crap. And the Kansas legislature said, no, we're gonna keep them separated.
Good morning. Yeah, Kansas lawmakers recently passed this bathroom bill. What it means is that you have to legally use the restroom associated with your sex at birth. So if you were born male, you'd use men's restroom.
Same goes with locker rooms.
If you were born female, you'd use the women's bathroom. Basically, this makes it illegal for those who are transgender to use a public bathroom associated with the gender that they assume.
Now you just go in there. If you got a pee-pee, you go into the one with the man signal, symbol. And if you got a nina, you go to the one with the girl symbol. And then they got those family ones. You could probably just go in there as long as there's not a family in there.
Associate with right now. So those who support this bill say it's all about protecting women.
It is.
They don't want someone who was born a male but now identifies as female using the women's restroom.
Yeah, it's only common sense, We did that for centuries, and it didn't come around until the Democrat Party decided to make this into some sort of a psyop, social contagion. And now we got like 10% of young kids, maybe even more, who say they're not only LGBTQIA+, and by the way, they came up with that stupid thing, LGBTQIA+. Really? This is like we're in a course correction. We're in the middle of a course correction here. We needed to be in a course correction because the Democrat Party has gone insane. Just gone insane. Senior advisor to President Trump says that 90% chance of a military action against Iran in the next coming weeks. The boss is fed up. And I agree. Boss is getting fed up. Some people around him warn him against going to war with Iran, but I think there's a 90% chance we see a kinetic action in the next couple weeks. The warning follows 3-hour talks in Geneva, February 18th, between Trump advisors Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff and Foreign Minister Abbas Abadabadaba. And by the way, the Ayatollah apparently posted a picture of the Supreme Court, posted an AI-generated photo of the Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier at the bottom of the ocean. They are belligerent thugs, and I hope we bomb the snot out of them. And if anything, it's going to be surgical. It's going to be pretty quick. And it's going to usher in freedom for the Persian people. And it's going to be massively amazing. It's going to be one of the most consequential moments of our lifetimes, no matter how old you are. Seriously. Kash Patel says that it's gotten to the bottom of all the funding of all these groups that, burned down our cities in 2020, went out and called Elon Musk a Nazi and destroyed his dealerships and vandalized his cars and did the No Kings and then are going after ICE and violently attacking ICE and causing all sorts of untold damage and whatnot. It's not organic at all. None of these leftist protests have been organic at all. And Kash Patel says now they know who's funding them.
And wait till and I know you know this, but wait till you see what's coming in the next month or two.
Come on
the funding streams related to this. You and I had launched a serious investigation. We had said these organizations don't operate.
He's talking to Dan Bongino.
Alone, don't operate in silence. They operate with a heavy stream of funding.
Yep.
And we started looking into it. And guess what, Dan? We found them.
There you go. So hopefully they'll be able to take that down. We will see. I don't know if you heard about this, but this is going on in Washington, D.C.
In Washington, it could be one of the largest environmental disasters ever in this country. A massive cleanup is underway after hundreds of millions of gallons of waste spilled into the Potomac. Yeah. Tom Costello is on the scene.
The river George Washington, called the nation's river, is tonight off limits and contaminated after a 60-year-old sewage line in Maryland broke open last month, spewing more than 240 million gallons of raw waste into the river. The same river that flows past the Kennedy Center and the Lincoln Memorial and used by boaters, kayakers, high school and college.
This is gigantic. It is something like we've never seen before. And Donald Trump is blaming Maryland, Wes Moore, among others, and Wes Moore is blaming Donald Trump. Yet, for some reason, he's saying that the federal government has the authority over the area that the spill took place. Yet, the Muriel Bowser is asking the federal government for help. Why would they need to ask for help from the federal government if they're not in charge of it? Here's Caroline Levitt.
Any of the three, federal government can go and take control of this local infrastructure that has been abandoned and neglected. Up in this process is for any of the three local jurisdictions involved, whether that's the Commonwealth of Virginia, the state of Maryland and Governor Moore, or the District of Columbia, to step forward and to ask the federal government for help and to ask for the Stafford Act to be implemented here so that the federal government can go and take control of this local infrastructure that has been abandoned and neglected by Governor Moore in Maryland for far too long. There has been no improvement under the leadership of Governor Moore. He's clearly shown he's incapable of fixing this problem, which is why President Trump and the federal government are standing by to step in.
There you go. And by the way, they can't do anything right now because FEMA's been defunded right now because of Democrats. Yeah, there is that. DEI Newsom. That's Wes Moore. Coming up, Kaitlin Bennett, Liberty Hangout. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Shopify. You know, for years I have had a swag line of T-shirts with catchy phrases and whatnot, and it's just been lying there. Well, I've decided to go with Shopify and actually make money with my own business. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates you can customize to match your brand instead of just having a lousy website that nobody notices like I have been doing for years. Set up fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Newsmax. Go to shopify.com/Newsmax. Make building a successful business your 2026 New Year's resolution.
The town of Portland I said in the guard, Antifa, they are gonna get you hard. The Democrat mayor's getting in my way. Go ahead, punks, and make my day. F around and find out. F around and find out. Schumer's gonna find out. I mean business and I'll get my way. Pencil neck and Chris Ray. For your crimes you will pay. You have both been found out. Hope you get a lengthy prison stay. Listen up, Hamas, I am warning you. Break the ceasefire and you'll be through. Democrats, hang your head in shame. For the shutdown, you're gonna get the blame. F around and find out. Mess around and find out. F around and find out. In the end, I'm gonna win the day. Find out.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain. Over time, it just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
Winning and winning and never losing. Results that drive Nancy Pelosi to boozing. Chris Christie choking on buffalo wings. These are my favorite conservative things. Gas prices falling, inflation dropping. To our momentum, there is no stopping. An end to 8 wars, what joy that brings. These are a few of my favorite things. Reducing spending, securing the border, restoring faith in law and order, arresting a punk at a no kings. These are my favorite conservative things. When Chuck Schumer makes me nauseous, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember we're bombing drug votes, and then I don't feel so
Any of the 3, federal government can go and take control of this local infrastructure that has been abandoned and neglected up in this process.
Now, Caroline Levin was talking about it yesterday. The gentleman who owns this building that I'm in, name's Mark Giuliani. He is an architect. His dad built Dulles Airport and the smaller Reagan National Terminal as well. Brilliant man. And he said that there's a pipe. It's a confluence of Northern Virginia, D.C. Sewage that runs into this one single pipe. It's 6 feet across. One single pipe. All of that, goes that one pipe. And that pipe is 60 years old. And it has leaked before. And there's been ample opportunity to do something about it. Nothing's been done about it. So there you go. It is a mess. This is Steve Ducey talking to Caroline Levitt about the possibility of, the cherry blossoms being covered up by the smell of poo.
From all over to come to the nation's capital. Is he worried that by the summer, the Potomac River will still smell like poop?
He is worried about that.
He said poop.
Which is why the federal government wants to fix it, and we hope that the local authorities will cooperate.
Yeah, you would think so. This is the D.C. water manager, David Gaddis, because he came in and he decided that it was more important that we focus on not the color of the water, but the color of the people who make it clean.
When I arrived at D.C. Water, this was an organization that looked very similar to our industry. It was predominantly, white male at the top. But This was a utility that's, more than 70% people of color work at this utility. And I really believe...
Yes, but what color is all of our waste?
And I still believe, and it has been...
It's a unifying message.
Fantastic. The outcomes have been fantastic. But the people at the top, the executives, the chiefs, in that seat...
Yeah, it doesn't make it any better. I don't want to listen to you anymore. You're so friggin' stupid. My God, why don't you just go clean it up? There you go. Just remember, everybody's poo is the same color, even if our skin color is...
Sewage keeps on spilling. Westmore is a villain. Anger at the governor's begun to soar. It is such a downer. Potomac is much browner. Blame, blame, blame all the poop on Westmore.
Hey!
Just like Gavin Newsom, they are quite a twosome. I have to step in like I've done before.
Boom, boom.
West couldn't get a bridge built. He should be filled with guilt. Maryland is furious with that clown Westmore. 300 million gallons of sewage has been spilled.
That's a lot.
While the local government just drags their feet. Drags their feet. Delay is never ending. FEMA I'll be sending. You know you can't rely on Wes anymore.
Nope. So the Key Bridge collapsed over a year ago. Nothing's been done about that so far. And they're saying 2030 before it's rebuilt. If Donald Trump were in charge, he'd have the damn thing built next year, be under budget. Because that's what he does. But Westmore is an ideologue. Westmore has his eyes on the White House, even though he's done nothing for the state of Maryland. The state of Maryland sucks. It sucks. And it's a damn shame because it's a beautiful state, man. There's so much to see and do here. I drove up to my old neighborhood, Germantown, Maryland. I lived up there for 12 years. The little strip mall near my house now is a weed shop, pawn shop. There's a abandoned homeless encampment with tents and garbage and needles, like right near my house. Right near my house. The mall that was there, Lake Forest Mall, it was abandoned 10 years ago. It's still abandoned. It's still sitting there. Homeless people living in it. Drug addicts living in it. By my kid's old elementary, right behind it, you got people selling fruit out of the back of pickup trucks like it's Tijuana. It is a disgusting hellhole. And I went to Annapolis. Annapolis, the streets are in unbelievable disrepair. And this jackweed is more concerned about going to Italy and hanging out with George Clooney. Unbelievable. And here's Westmore being asked if Donald Trump is racist.
Do you think his lack of extension of an invitation to you is...
This is about the extension, the invitation to the governor's ball. Last year, Westmore turned down the invitation to the White House governor's ball. So this year, Donald Trump said, you know what? You're not invited. And so what does Westmore say? Well, it's because of my skin color.
The president motivated by race?
You know, honestly, I think that's a real question for President Trump.
No, it's not.
You know, what I know is, and what I've shown is, I will work with anybody. So I work with Democrats, Republicans.
What's it about for the president if it's not about race?
I think.
Then why do you want to gerrymander all Republican representation out of your state? You're such a phony.
I think the president just seems to have a very real issue with the fact that I do not bow to him, and I will stand up to him because I will always defend my people. But you know, the fact that I'm the only black governor in this country, and the fact that he seems to have a real issue with me, I think that's an issue he's got to take up.
He's not a racist.
Take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple.
Felicia,
and then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on.
Come on. He's a racist.
I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him.
Yeah, your cries of racism are falling on deaf ears finally after 35, 40 years of this nonsense. Utter, you know, and he just uses it to cover up his own stinking incompetent. He's an incompetent man, and that Gavin Newsom is an incompetent man. Right now, the Democrat Party on their ticket for 2028 are a litany of idiocy or incompetency. You got Kamala Harris, who spent $2 billion on a failing campaign, lost the popular vote, lost the both houses, lost the Electoral College. Why? Because she's dumb. She's an idiot. And also, she wasn't, she wasn't elected to be the candidate. So there's that. You got Gavin Newsom, who is California is a Charlie Foxtrot. Absolute Charlie Foxtrot. $250+ billion in fraud in the state of California. People leaving the 6th year in a row that they're leaving California more than any other state. You got Pete Buttigieg, who couldn't even work on a train derailment, get things right, did nothing as a transportation secretary. Westmore, governor of a failed state, unbelievably in debt. Coming up, we've got more on New York City, the collapse of New York City under Zoran Mandami. And also, by the way, I'm told Kaitlin Bennett's going to join us next. Let's go ahead and take a break now, Brian. This, my friends, is the Rob Carson Show. Hartford County.
I would rather have a dead baby. I would rather have a dead baby on my conscience than a baby that has to live a horrible life and get traumatized and for the first 18 years of their life.
So you just them up in the womb and poison them?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Spare them those 18 years.
Spare them the 18 years. Because honestly, sometimes I wish I was aborted. Like right now, given the current state of everything in this world, I really wish my mom had just pulled trigger.
A baby is a life.
Wow, that is unbelievable. Oh my God. We have a good share of the American population that are completely mentally ill. And I absolutely mean that 100%. It's not a joke. It's not a punchline, obviously. Kaitlin Bennett sees it every day when she goes out on the streets and interviews a lot of these lefties. She joins us on the Newsmax hotline. Hi, Mom. Kaitlin, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just saying that because Kaitlin apparently was supposed to be on the last break. She couldn't get her kid down for a nap. So we
yeah,
welcome to it, sister.
It's just a little messy.
Welcome to it.
Longer.
Oh my God! When I was the ultimate dad, I could change a diaper faster than an Indy pit crew. I was unbelievable. That was really good. So where were you when you talked to these guys? The guy who said he wished he was aborted, for God's sake.
Yeah, I was at the University of Central Florida. We haven't been there in a long time, so we decided to take a little visit. We were actually talking about voter ID laws and the SAVE Act, and then they start talking about how. I said, should we have voter ID to cast a vote? And they said, no, because it's a right. And I said, well, should we have a vote? Should we have ID to purchase a gun? And they're like, well, yes, absolutely, because a gun can kill someone. I was like, your vote can also kill someone when you allow abortion. And
then it went off the rails.
Went unhinged, and they started talking about wanting to die. So.
Well, you also need to be a citizen to vote, because the right to vote is only for citizens, and to become to prove you're a citizen, you have to have documentation. So there is that. There is that.
They unfortunately, it was really actually sad to hear him say that he wanted to die. He was shaking the entire 20 minutes I was talking to him, and I don't think that he believes anything he just said. He's obviously well off. He said he had free college tuition from the state of Florida to attend there. He had a fancy pair of headphones. He's openly gay. He obviously does not feel that way. He was just so upset with being called out with his love for genocide of the unborn.
Yeah, and another thing, he was being racist. Because he said, better to have a life that is not miserable. That's Democrats feel that they can defend 80% abortion rate in the black community because, well, you wouldn't want to raise poor in the inner city. They are really that racist. They're racist enough to say that black people are either too stupid or criminal to get an ID. They certainly are, I think, inferring that black kids shouldn't grow up because, of violence and whatnot. I have no doubt whatsoever that is one of the underlying arguments for abortion, particularly on college campi.
It's just so sad. Most of those kids will change their mind as they grow up.
I know.
And I actually looked at that young black woman there. The last thing I said to her was, when you have a child one day and you're looking in their eyes, you're going to remember what you said to me, and you are going to regret every ounce of it. And I said, and you'll be able to go look at my YouTube channel and find it and be ashamed of yourself, because you should be. And I left, and I said, have a good day. And I walked away. I couldn't talk to them anymore.
I don't know how you do it, honestly. I'm thinking, men don't like confrontation generally, unless we've been drinking and, it's at a bar. But we don't really, right? We don't like confrontation. Your husband may not like confrontation. This is the way we are. You got no problem with it. I couldn't do what you do. It's got to be.
It's absolutely true. My husband is non-confrontational, even at home with me.
Yes.
Non-confrontational when we go out there. Unless a cop is trying to trespass me, that's when his New Jersey accent comes out and he gets a little heated. But other than that, super chill. He's like, it's whatever, and I'm over here I will fight everyone.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I think there's a lot of obviously biological reasons for it. I won't get into it now, but there are. Men choose their battles when they have to. Women are just like, let's go. And you see that, by the way, with the crazy white Karens. The crazy white Karens who are always shocked when they get a smackdown, totally shocked that you can, try to run over an ICE agent and get shot. I mean, honestly. They do. They think they are the Chihuahua on the side of the fence with the pit bull on the other side, and when the gate opens up, they freak the hell out. That's what it is.
I would say it's mostly at these protests. I would say it's more women than men, too.
Yes.
Now that you point that out,
of course.
As I'm reflecting on all the protests I've been to in the last year, it's mostly women.
Yeah, listen to this. And every day I'm doing a bit called the Crazy Cat Lady of the Day. And I'm telling you, Kaitlin, every day I've got to choose which one I want to use. Listen to this.
How are these people still running this country? Our leaders are pedophiles. They enjoy raping children.
I got to tell you, and I see this every day. Threatening, wanting to kill ICE, fantasizing about death, fantasizing about Carolyn Levitt suffering life-changing injury during birth. What the hell? Kaitlin, what the hell?
It's weird. And I think the hardest thing is that we have to realize these are the types of people who have jobs every day. We interact with these types of people every day. We just don't know how crazy they are. One time, I was assaulted in front of police in Kentucky by a man pretending to be a woman who worked at a local hospital. I couldn't imagine going into a local hospital for something, and that person is actually trying to take care of me.
Yeah.
And so these people are everywhere. We just don't know it.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I really believe in my heart that we are in a battle of good and evil. There is no doubt about it. And I do believe that Satan is in his death throes. If you look at what's been exposed with the Epstein files in Great Britain, the royal family, what we've exposed here as far as graft and corruption and pure evil, I really do believe, Kaitlin, of all the things that I'm a Jesuit tradition raised to believe that science and God can exist on the same spectrum with philosophy and all this. And I believe we are in the throes. We are in the fight right now between good and evil. And we are the reaction to the action of evil. I really think there are going to be much better days ahead of us. And eventually this is all going to be exposed. Fortunately, they are exposing themselves on social media so we can go after them, right?
Absolutely. And the devil has a lot of useful idiots on his hand to try and push his agenda and what he's trying to do. And it's so sad they just don't realize it.
Yeah, well, I'm grateful to have you on the show. I know you're going to be a great mom, and your kids aren't going to believe any of that's falderall. I really appreciate you. Liberty Hangout, where can everybody find you?
Over on YouTube and Rumble at Liberty Hangout.
You're the best. Thanks for being on the show, and give the kid a little kiss on the forehead. All right, see ya. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All right, streamers, hold on. Hello, streamers. What's going on? She's great. Rob, that Karen woke my dog up. Oh, no. Guys, okay. That person would be crazy if you were just in the room with that person. But the fact that person will put that on public display shows that they are gone. They are gone. Okay. By the way, we're talking about the ink cartridges, how expensive they are. Get the ones, the refill, the ink cartridge refill on Amazon. Never buy ink from a retailer like Office Max or Walmart. Somebody said, what was it, $170 for an... I don't do that. I buy 3 or 4 for like $30. And they're constant refills. So you're just getting refilled, and then you recycle them. I bring them in here to be recycled at the office. But never buy full price ink at the store. That's nuts. You're nuts. Hello, Chris Schwab. Rob, when I was with my son's mother, she was what? Hold on. She was contentious and loved confrontation. Oh, yeah. Women generally do. Men don't. We avoid confrontation because we know what we should waste our energy on. Right? Like a fight with the wife, you're like, I'm out. That's sorry, that's just the way it is. Women don't fight generally. They don't do the fighting. They don't do the war. We go to war. We go to war when we have to go to war. Women are emboldened all the time, and they don't know the consequences frequently of that because they don't get a beat down like guys do. We know that we can get our rear ends, beat down. Here we go.
Of every hour throughout the day. Breaking news, stimulating talk. Only on Talk Radio 680, WCBM, and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
Got about 340 here.
So Nurdin Kiswani, Palestinian-American activist, made remarks about getting rid of dogs in Washington or in New York City. Finally, New York City is coming to Islam. Dogs definitely don't have a place in society, not as indoor pets like we've said all along. They are unclean is what she has said. And I'm going to tell you right now, dogs are sacred. Sacred. They serve us. They are our best friends. They greet us every day with joy and love. They are a gift from God. You would not know this. You would not know this, radical Islamists. But you love your goats. I don't know how it is with goats can be unclean or not unclean, but dogs can. Here is Representative Randy Fine talking about, you know what, you can pry my puppy from my cold dead hands.
If Muslims don't want to have dogs, that's perfectly fine. But they don't get to tell me I don't get to have one. And they certainly don't get to tell you in the United States of America that you don't get to have one. That shouldn't be controversial. The fact that it is tells you how far the Democratic Party has fallen. It is utterly ridiculous. This is an Islamic scholar talking about why you shouldn't have a dog.
Do you know that having dogs in your home without any valid reason causes you to lose huge amounts of rewards daily? and also keeps angels away from your home? Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam warns us about this in an authentic hadith, saying, whoever keeps a dog, except for herding, hunting, or farming, will have 2 kirats of good deeds deducted
Yeah, well, you know what? You can KMA, baby. You can KMA. How dare you say such things about our best friends ever?
How much is that doggy in the window?
Jim Gossett!
The one that we say is unclean. Doggies should never be a house pet. To them we're incredibly mean.
My goat's got the pink ribbon on it.
Goats, they are a different story. They are the joy of my life. With goats I am so enamored. I might just make one my wife.
Or your sister.
Don't buy that doggy in the window.
Rough.
Don't bring him home, let him play. Doggies as pets are a no-no. In the window, let him stay.
There you go. That is Jim Gossett. Go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy, to help him out. On the way, the FCC chairman sounds off on Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert really wants a white man to win the Senate seat in Texas to the exclusion of a black woman. Yeah, I know. He's chosen favorites, you see, and you've got to do equal time in situations like elections, you see. That's the way it works out. But Stephen Colbert is playing victim as he exits the building, the end of his contract coming up, and Brendan Cart calls him out. That is coming up. Also, the collapse of Zohran Mandami's collectivism. The Socialist Workers' Paradise is collapsing because they've run out of other people's money. It's real. It's bigger and worse than you could have ever imagined. I'm just glad it happened so soon. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
WCBM.com.
Oh, now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Equity, $4.6 million, Commission on Racial Equity, $835,000, Commission on Gender Equity, $260,000 for Department of Education, Chief Diversity Officer, $301,000 for 3 FDNY civilian chief diversity inclusion officers. There's a title for you.
Yeah.
And $118,000 for an FDNY chief diversity inclusion officers.
That's important.
Is that necessary stuff? You can't cut that back?
Yeah, they're doubling down on stupid. The left doubling down on stupid. On Capitol Hill, they're doubling down on the stupidity and the evil of child gender transition. And in New York City, they're doubling down on DEI and other nonsense, and they don't have the money. They don't have the money. The city is already in hock, by the way. Their budget went up, by the way. Their budget went up dramatically in the last year, and they are so overspent and so overstretched. Ron DeSantis was commenting on the entire state of Florida's budget. Annual budget of Florida is $117 billion. New York's budget is $127 billion. They're scrod. They are absolutely scrod. And so Zoran Mandami, he's already dying on the vine. The free grocery store that he's been promising free grocery stores, because Democrats always say there's a food desert when Democrat policies cause a food desert, not fighting crime. So the stores just finally say, screw it, we're out of here. We're tired of being robbed blind. We're tired of our employees being robbed in the parking lot. We're tired of people breaking out the windows and coming in and looting the damn place. So there's your food desert. Bravo, Democrats. I mean, honestly. So broken, the Democrat Party. Mandami canceled a previous order from New York City Mayor Eric Adams aiming to hire 5,000 more New York City PD officers going into effect in 2026, so they're cutting police. They're cutting the police force. That's what Zoran Mandami is doing. Under Adams' plan, the NYPD was set to add 300 officers in July 2026, growing to 2,500 in 2027, eventually increasing 5,000 additional officers annually. The Adams plan allowed the NYPD to deploy approximately 40,000 officers to the street, while Maidani's plan caps the number close to 35. I don't know why you'd ever be a police officer in New York City. I mean, I don't actually, any Democrat city, I don't know why you'd be a police officer. I thank you for doing it, though. My God. I mean this from the bottom of my heart, that you do what you do. That you do what you do, and you ICE officers, and you Border Patrol, and you go through all of this. My God, nobody should have to go through what you go through. What you go through. You arrive on scenes of horror. You arrive on scenes of murder and abuse. You arrive on accident scenes that no one be able to clear from their memories. I mean, people, cut in half during traffic, accidents. You do all of this. You do all of this, and then you deal with petulance and idiocy and attacks. It is ridiculous what you have to do. Just don't ever forget people in uniform, what they have to do. While you go into a cubicle, you do whatever. I come in here, I do a radio show. My job is a gift from God. But every day I don't have to, kiss somebody goodbye and maybe never come home because I might get killed in the line of duty. It is unbelievable. Now Zoran Mandami, his moist dream of a socialist worker paradise is dying. Piles of snow and feces and garbage everywhere. It looks like he's going to have to cut back on his dream of capping rent or giving free rent to people. And now, of course, he's talking about if he can't get a big tax increase on wealthy people, which will make them leave, and they're already leaving, by the way, then he's going to have to increase property taxes. Here is Sarah Williams on Newsmax. She's spectacular in New York City.
So what we put forward was what we characterized as actions of last resort. I described them as last resort because we have a broken property tax system in this city. We have one that can barely stand up in court. And my goal is to reform that system to what we are.
Everybody's property taxes go up 10%. That's quite a blow.
Hoping for, what we will spend every day looking towards, is working with Albany to increase taxes on the wealthy.
How about cut your DEI bullcrap? How about you cut your budget by $10 billion? How about that? For your city's got a bigger budget than Florida, and Florida's got a lot more residents.
Profitable corporations, such that a fiscal crisis is not resolved on the backs.
You did this. Democrat policies did this.
Of working and middle-class New Yorkers.
So if all that fails, he plans to increase property taxes by 9.5%. And Governor Kathy Hochul and state lawmakers have shown little appetite for the tax the rich approach. That leaves the fallback plan, the sweeping property tax that's going to impact residential units and also commercial properties across all 5 boroughs. He's also proposing a $1.2 billion taking that from the city's rainy day fund and also from retiree healthcare reserves. Critics warn that this will hit middle-class homeowners and renters who are already dealing with high living costs.
Yeah, this is unsustainable. It's unsustainable. You can't run a city like this. You can't run a federal government the way our federal government's been running either.
Tax the rich.
And what if he can't?
Then we're in trouble, basically.
I don't think so, because the last option he has is something like $3.5 billion taxing property taxes. The rent is going to go up.
You know, on the emotional knee-jerk side of it, yeah, you make a statement about taxes going up, people go, oh. But, you know, when you see the details of how it really works, that's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, and actually show some results, because they're doing a really crappy job running the city. I mean, a really crappy job running the city. This is Queenborough President Donovan Richards talking about the possibility of raising property taxes to cover the overspending of Democrats.
Came to pass have on your constituents who are living in 1- and 2-family homes versus apartments.
Well, we saw the foreclosure crisis. Where did it peak at? The foreclosure crisis always peaked in Southeast Queens. So without a doubt, you're pushing people out of their homes. And even as we talk about a pathway to affordable housing and a pathway to ownership, it's hard to buy a home now, so you're really setting back generational wealth, and you're going to force people out of their homes. And we've already seen what happened in 2008. The Southeast Queens was hit hard, extremely hard.
It's unbelievable. What a mess. If I were Staten Island, I'd get the hell out of it. Get the hell out of New York, honestly. It is just so poorly run. And now you've got, Lord of the Flies meets I'm drawing a blank on the Animal Farm. Yeah, it's Lord of the Flies versus Animal Farm. For real, yeah. Let me see. Who talked about that? Greg Gutfeld talked about that. I said that it's a lot like Animal Farm meets pardon me. I'll get on my seat here. But he basically echoed the same thing with regard to kids. I told you that electing Zohran Mamdani was like handing the keys to the bus to a first grader and saying, "Drive the kids home." You're going to go off the rails. And here is what Greg Gutfeld had to say. Hold on, let me find him here. Gutfeld. Well, let me find it. I'll get it here. He said something very funny last night, and here it is. I'll have to come back to it. I apologize. Gutfeld. No, that's not it. I'll come back. Okay. But he echoed what I've been saying, that it is a bunch of children, a bunch of adult children. AOC is an adult child. She has no life experience. She was a bartender. She's so stupid she doesn't know what's in a rum and coke. That's the kind of person she is. But this is what's happening. It's happening in not only in New York City, but also in Seattle, among other places, and it's happening in Chicago. Brandon Johnson is an awful, awful mayor. I mean, a terrible mayor. Worse than Lori Lightfoot, and Lori Lightfoot, complete incompetent. And now the Chicago Bears are going to be going to Indiana. Did you know that? The Chicago Bears, and I talked to, when I was driving across the country, I stopped in Indiana, and there were some people in this hotel I was staying at. They were thrilled about the possibility of Indiana getting the Bears. The Chicago Bears going to Indiana because of incompetence by people like this moron. And here he is talking about it yesterday.
Is my face straight? Okay. All right, keep a straight face here. The Bears belong in the city of Chicago. The Chicago Bears belong in the city of Chicago, right? Yeah. And I've
Stop making Chicago suck.
Said repeatedly that the door is always open for conversations, Kevin Warren did call me yesterday. We didn't get a chance to connect, and I still firmly believe that their best position is in Chicago.
Why?
And it's evidence.
Why?
The evidence is clearly speaking for itself.
No, it isn't. Chicago's not safe. Taxes are too damn high. Businesses are fleeing, and it's run by an idiot. Why would you want to stay in Chicago? My God in heaven. Here, I got the Gutfeld clip that I want to play for you. Hold on one second. Gutfeld last night was talking about, remember when Remember when AOC said that Native Americans and Mexicans created the cowboys or something like that? Remember that? It turns out not so much. The horses came from Spain. Greg Gutfeld uncovered something very interesting about not only that, but also the guy who brought the horses.
The way she mocked J.D. Vance, that, the idea that American cowboys came from Spain, that was so stupid. Yeah. She's wrong. They were brought there, in the 15th century by some guy. Get this.
Who?
Do you know what his name is?
What? Who?
Cortez. She's a direct descendant of the guy that brought the horses to Mexico.
And she got her teeth from them.
Then to America. So weirdly enough, it was Cortez who brought the horses and then later gave us an ass.
There you go.
Anyway, I think the Democrats are blessed with the binary filter of being within our border, where Democrats and Republicans are kind of seen as intellectual equivalents.
No.
Because there are two parties. But once you step outside the country, that equality evaporates, on contact. It's like two guys playing Call of Duty. Then they both go to war, but only one has real combat and experience and skills.
Yeah.
That's when that's what happens to the Dems when they leave the house and they venture outside and you see that they know
How
nothing.
stupid they are.
And it's like on cable news, you could see AOC and Gav can raise themselves up by sparring online with Trump.
Yes.
And you might think they're in the ballpark, but they're not even in the same country. And I think the mistake since Obama was focusing on identity, but not national.
Yes.
In fact, it was the opposite of national identity. It was splintered factions and causes, whether it was trans, illegal rights, felon justice, kind of activist-driven climate, pronouns, land acknowledgement. So the Dems took this short-term virtue signal and let everything else go to pot.
Yeah.
So they became almost like the children in Lord of the Flies. They just start going after
What did I tell you? Lord of the Flies, baby.
for each other.
Meets Animal Farm.
And Republicans are, just by default, look like adults, even if you disagree with them, and they have to return to the...
Told you, bunch of adult children. That's your Democrat Party. And it's time for the kids to get a spanking. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
International.
Piggy, rejoin.
Piggy.
Hey, quick question for all the people mad at Donald Trump for calling that reporter a piggy.
Yeah, what?
Would you prefer to be called her Hitler, racist, rapist, pedo, dictator, fascist? Would you have preferred one of those?
Metallica! Come on! Yes! I like my metal heavy. I'm gonna put a smile on your face. I know I do that anyway, ladies. I know. Just seeing my face right here. I know. Go ahead, right now. Try not to smile. I'm looking at you on the social media. You're smiling. Seething with rage and hate. Anyway, here we go. Listen. So you got a lot of these kids walking out of schools because they've been indoctrinated to walk out of school. Now they're protesting ICE and all that. Now, you remember a call back in 2020 or so. I had an expression on the show. Pardon the language, but I said to these kids walking out of class protest, get your asses to your classes. That's what I said. You have no right to protest as a student. You are not. It is not your First Amendment right to leave school and protest. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. That's just not the way it works, all right? You can't wear a Black Lives Matter shirt to Walmart. You got to wear a blue vest. If you don't, you'll be told to go home. There are times that you do not have a First Amendment right, okay? But there's this principal, Pennsylvania, Daniel Weber, Wilson High School, receiving widespread recognition after shutting down an anti-ICE protest. Listen to this.
We'll go back to class and we're good. If you stay out here, we will get your names. You will be suspended. Okay? That is your option at this point. Because you are operating outside the bounds of what was granted. That event was canceled. You left school without permission. Your rights do not supersede the school.
Nope.
So if you understand that, that is your option. If you wish to return, Dr. Damiani will let you in that door over there. If not, I will be getting your names. You will be suspended. Okay? Yeah. Those are your options.
What are we doing?
All right? Your rights do not exceed that of the school.
There you go. Turn this down. This is the exact opposite of some of the crap that's being taught in schools. Here's an example. Anti-ICE protest. Here it is.
We all are not thugs, and we all deserve hugs, and some of us won't even crush bugs.
We're getting deported by ICE, and I can't understand why everyone can't suffice. We have might, so we must fight. Just for our rights, look at the future and set our sights. Guys. Cooked, our system is cooked. Booked, our president should read a book.
Shook, every time we see an officer, we shouldn't be shook.
Yep, this is because the teachers have been indoctrinated. No room for this. No room for this. You get your butt in that class, you get your butt in that chair, and you teachers, you teach them what they need to survive, not your bull crap politics. Done. We've seen 30 years of this crap. It's time for the children and the teachers to get a spanking. There you go. So Stephen Colbert is claiming victim. Sorry, he is a rectum. He's got a love affair with this James Tallarico. He's a candidate for Senate in Texas, and he's running against Jasmine Crockett. And the FCC chairman said, hey, if you're going to have Tallarico on, you got to have Jasmine Crockett on too. It's called equal time. Now, I hate to tell you this. I've been in broadcasting for a number of years, and it's always been this way in an election year. If you have one candidate on, you got to have the other candidate on. That's the way it is. And by the way, who the hell gives a dang about James Tallarico on a comedy show? Who cares? So, here's Stephen Colbert just shoveling the last few scoops of dirt onto the grave of late night television. And now he had to put the interview with James Tallarico on YouTube because the FCC chair said, you got to have Jasmine Crockett on.
Now, here's the thing. I don't usually say this to a guest, but if people are watching this right now, it's because they found us online. On YouTube. Yeah. I did an act of the show that's on tonight explaining why it's not the first time you've caused some drama. FCC opening probe into The View after appearance by Tallarico.
Yeah.
Do you mean to cause trouble?
I think that Donald Trump...
He did get attention and raised money. He raised $2 million after that appearance. Here is Brendan Carr, the FCC chair, shredding both of them.
You had a Democrat candidate who understood
the way that the news media works.
Yeah.
And he took advantage of all of your sort of prior conceptions to run a hoax, apparently for the purpose of raising money and getting clicks.
A stunt.
And the news media played right into it. I think yesterday was a perfect encapsulation of why the American people have more trust in gas station sushi than they do in the national news media.
Yeah.
And this was very plainly an effort ginned up to get clicks and to raise money. And you guys ate it up like slop. And when it was pointed out that the facts were completely different than what the fake news media was running with, nobody did like an about face and did a fact correction. They just pivoted and moved away. And again, I think this is why the American people simply don't trust the news media anymore.
100%. And then also that late night is just awful now. Here is Brandon Carr talking about equal time.
Yeah, the equal time rule was put in place all the way back in the 1950s by Congress. And again, the idea is you don't want these legacy media gatekeepers picking the candidates that are going to win primaries for general elections. It's about more speech, more information, empowering viewers. Again, step back at what happened during the Biden years at the FCC. That was actually weaponization. That's when they threatened to not revoke the license for a Fox broadcast station because of programming they didn't like on Fox News. Cable, it's when Democrats went after cable companies and pressured them to drop Fox News. That's weaponization. What we're doing now is simply applying the law on the books in an even-handed manner. And for people that benefited from a two-tier system of justice during the Biden years, it may feel like weaponization, but that doesn't make it so.
Yeah, and shame on you for just ruining late-night television. Who the hell in late-night television? I got a doctorate in late-night television. I followed my whole life. That you would think that Tallarico or, Eric Swalwell or whoever are entertaining or even interesting. Why would you do that other than just because you're in their pants politically? Shame on you. Shame on all of you who did this to late night television. Johnny Carson is rolling in his grave like a baseball bat on a lathe, for God's sake. Shame on you. Let's take a break and come back. Cliff Maloney, Citizens Alliance next. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain. Over time, it just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
Somalis are all on welfare, and the Dems just seem to not care. Ilhan Omar, she needs to go. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. Many are anti-Semitic. Their statements have been pathetic. They're a threat to all you know. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. They are always expressing hate of America. Why are they here? Must abort before it's too late. Talk about holiday cheer. Our language, they will not learn it. Own money, refuse to earn it. They are gaming the system so. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Shopify. You know, for years I have had a swag line of T-shirts with catchy phrases and whatnot, and it's just been lying there. Well, I've decided to go with Shopify and actually make money with my own business. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates you can customize to match your brand instead of just having a lousy website that nobody notices like I have been doing for years. Set up fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Newsmax. Go to shopify.com/Newsmax. Make building a successful business your 2026 New Year's resolution.
They're not doing a great job in many cases running their own states. Those who were in the previous administration don't have a good story to tell. They tanked our economy. The president now is cleaning up a lot of the messes from the Biden-Harris administration. Chaos around the world, an economy that left so many people hurting, unable to afford basic necessities. And now we finally have a president who's putting us on the right track, leading from the top. What is their message when they're going into these places? The only thing that they have to say is, we don't like Donald Trump.
Yeah, 100%. It's being contrary to Trump, no matter what it is, even when it's obviously good, and most of it is, like blowing up narco drug boats. They're fishermen. Like bombing Iran nuclear sites, closing the southern border, extracting Maduro. I mean, I can go on and on. They're on the wrong side of everything. The only thing they have is anti-Trump. And you've noticed affordability is now off the table. Today we got great new job numbers. And of course, they were better than expected. Really? Not me. I knew they were going to kick butt. But, this is your Democrat Party. They're doing a death spiral into hell. Cliff Maloney, CEO of Citizens Alliance, joins us on the Newsmax hotline. Cliff, how you doing, bro?
I am great. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, man. Always great to have you on. We obviously have to be cautious with the any election when it involves Democrats. But I am not pessimistic about the midterms. A lot of times, people lose the House, both houses in the midterms. But the Democrat Party has nothing to run on. They have nothing to run. What are your thoughts on where we are now versus where we're going to be in October?
Yeah, I think the biggest obstacle that Republicans are going to have, let me start by saying it's not going to be the Democrat message that's a problem, right? No. The Democrats have no message. No. What we were just listening to is exactly correct. It's just Donald Trump is bad, right? That's their entire message. But here's the warning, and this is a big warning to all the Republicans out there. That is still a message that motivates Democrats. We've seen it in special elections. We saw in the 2025 off-year elections that even if Trump is not on the ballot, Democrats are motivated by the message of Donald Trump is bad and you must vote against him, even if he's not on the ballot. So Republicans are going to have to get out there, Rob. We're going to have to drive messaging.
Yep.
We're going to have to connect the dots between the good things happening in the U.S. and making sure that Republicans get credit for it. Democrats are very good at blaming, but we need to be better at taking credit.
100%. 100%. Now, the president has a speech today on the economy at 4 o'clock on Newsmax, by the way. And I've been asking this question. I've been asking, how do we prove and show that there are great things happening in the vacuum of any good news in the liberal media. They will not report anything, no matter how good it is. I mean, honestly, if the Ayatollah falls this weekend, they will find something good to say about the Ayatollah. They're not even protesting against the Ayatollah on college campuses. They wanted Maduro freed, for God's sake. I mean, honestly, we got to be able to overwhelm them, their message of absolute negativity, with unmistakable success.
100%. And look, the one thing I try to tell a lot of people is what really matters anymore is not October. You know, it used to be, how do people feel in October, and that will dictate how they vote in November. The problem, Rob, is all these states have 3 months of voting.
Yeah.
So, you know, some people are voting in August or September.
I know.
And so I honestly think it's really, you know, how are people feeling in June and July?
Yeah.
When we get into the hot summer months, what are people seeing in their bank account? What are they seeing when they go to the grocery store, when they fill up their gas tank? That's where Republicans are going to have to lead, and it's going to have to be those couple of months where people not only feel it, but that Republicans are out there energizing the base, talking about the results.
Yep.
But, Rob, once again, Democrats take elections seriously, right? This is a business to them. They hate Donald Trump. That's their motivator. The question is whether Republicans can match the energy and actually compete with Democrats.
Oh, I think we can. We're in the 250th anniversary of the country's birth. I think there's a wave of patriotism and faith sweeping across the country. Did you see the Black History Month meeting at the White House yesterday? I thought that was pretty amazing.
Oh, with Grandma.
How did they get in without an ID?
That was great. It was fantastic. And I think more events like that, you know, showing the real impact that Trump 47 is having on some of the minority communities and just all communities, right? I think the more we can do that, and remember, we won that election in 2024 due to black men and women in Philadelphia, in Pittsburgh, and some of the major cities throughout the country and swing states because they rejected the Democrats. And so the coalition is changing, but we've got to get that coalition stronger and back together for 2026.
I know we do. Now, Pennsylvania. You're kind of a Pennsylvania insider. What do you know? What's going on in Pennsylvania? You said Pennsylvania, 3 congressional Republicans, top 10 targets. Tell me what's going on in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean, Pennsylvania decided the majority when it came to the U.S. House. I mean, in 2024, we had 3 different seats that we won by less than roughly 2 percentage points. So what are we doing this year, right? What's happening in Pennsylvania? So our group, Citizens Alliance, we've relaunched the Pennsylvania Chase program. So that's our program to go out. We're knocking 750,000 doors across target districts. And the 3 you mentioned, Rob, that every listener should be paying attention to is PA 7, 8, and 10. That's Ryan McKenzie, Rob Bresnahan, and Scott Perry. The Democrats have been spending money against them since the last election, meaning they didn't take any time off. Right? They might have got 2 weeks. They're back up in the field. They're on the airwaves. They're on radio. They've got digital ads, mailers. Out of the top 10 districts across the country that Democrats think they can flip, 3 of them are in Pennsylvania. And so we are all in with this PHA's program. We're going to try to defend all 3 of these seats. But it's going to be a battle. And it's already started. I mean, this is something that started months ago, but we're out there grinding.
And the Democrats are spending a ton of money. I saw Hakeem Jeffries saying they'll spend $30 million in the state of Virginia to make sure that they can go, 10 Democrats to 1 Republican there. They fight dirty. They're doing the same thing in Maryland, among other places. So we're ahead in fundraising. But we're clearly going to have to do a lot better, right?
Yeah, not only are we going to have to do a lot better, but we need fighters. You know, like you just said, look, the Democrats, they fight. They won 10-1 in Virginia, yet we got people like Dan Webster in Florida complaining that DeSantis' maps are a little too strong. I'm kind of just sick and tired of some of these soft Republicans that don't realize this is war, right? This is political, ideological warfare. And the Democrats do it in every single state, and it's time for Republicans to grow a spine and to push to make sure that if they control the state, they control the maps.
Yeah.
Play by the same rules as the Democrats. That's all I'm saying.
Well, look at how dirty they're fighting in Virginia. I just moved to Virginia, right? I just moved to Virginia about 6 months ago. And they put up a terrible Republican candidate who has the personality of an armadillo against Abigail Spamberger. And Abigail Spamberger lied about her and what she represents and what she wanted to do. And then when she got into office, they unveiled all this bat guano crazy Marxist crap. So the Democrat Party will do anything to win, and every one of them should be never considered moderate. Never considered moderate. Democrats know how to lie. This is not a moderate party. They are heading left. Can you hold on through the break, Cliff? Because I want to talk to you a little bit about voter integrity and how that's going to impact things. Can you do that, my friend?
Yes, sir. I'll be here.
All right, let's take a break. More with the CEO of Citizens Alliance, Chris Maloney, on the Rob Carson Show. Stick around.
PM.
More with Cliff Maloney in 1 second. So gold is right now at $49.84, so it's back down under $5,000, which means that it's tempting you. It's Siren's song saying, come and buy me, invest in me. Here's a headline. ANZ sees gold hitting $5,800 an ounce in the second quarter. Not a big surprise. That's $800 from now. Imagine if you had 10 ounces of gold. Do the math, kids. That's like a lot of money. International disputes, inflation's rising national debt, digital currency, never-ending list of reasons why gold has risen over 700%. And why it went up to $5,600, then it dropped down to $4,600. Now it's back by $5,000, and it's on its way back. I've been telling you forever to just text my name, Rob, to 989898. I took a little 401k that I had from my days selling cars, and I converted it just 2 weeks ago, and I got in at the right time, right place for the first time in my life. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Birch Gold. It is got an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Tens of thousands of happy customers. Honestly, diversify your portfolio if you got a little portfolio, and if not, get started on it. Don't put it in savings. Savings ain't going to do anything for you. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Birch Gold will not pressure you. You'll get a text back, and then you can approve a phone call, and you talk to somebody, and they're wonderful, they're delightful people, and they'll make it easy, and they'll do all the paperwork and the heavy lifting. They do all the paperwork and heavy lifting. There was no paperwork involved for me. There was 2 phone calls. Boop, done. Birch Gold. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Obviously, a lot of cheating in the state of Pennsylvania, even though there's technically, I guess, no voter fraud. Cliff Maloney, are they cleaning up Pennsylvania? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of reports out of Pennsylvania. I'm seeing Scott Pressler in there. I'm seeing, Pam Bondi in there. I'm DHS Secretary Tulsi Gabbard going to Fulton County and all of this. Do you see the fraud becoming less of a factor this year? Cliff Maloney? I guess he dropped off. See if we can get him on. It's no big deal if we can't. See if we can get him back on. I'd like to get Cliff Maloney back on if we can't. He's what?
He says he's back.
He's back. Okay, Cliff Maloney. So is voter fraud going to be less of a factor in Pennsylvania and other states in the 2026 midterms?
It's interesting, Rob. I mean, I wouldn't put it past some of the Dems in Philadelphia and obviously Allegheny County.
Yeah.
We always have issues there. We've got to kind of overwhelm them, but I mean, we got to pass the SAVE Act.
Yep.
I hate to keep coming back to it. I mean, I feel like we're all beating it like a dead horse, but it's are the Republicans going to actually push this thing through or not?
We have
because that's the biggest issue we have. Is these non-citizens voting, and these mail-in ballots going out. We need very much severe reform, and we're just not seeing it right now.
I want to tell you something, Cliff, you may or may not know. The Democrat Party this last week has insulted the black community once again. They've been doing it since the Civil War. And then also women, by saying that women cannot exist without a man in their lives. If you get a divorce, you won't have an ID. You got, you need an ID for a million things. You cannot live in this country and be clothed and housed without identification, right? Okay. So the Democrat Party, rather than saying, let's make sure that people can have an ID so they can get a house or they can rent, instead, they've said there are 20 million people who do not have an ID, so we should get rid of an ID requirement to prove your citizenship. And I would venture to say that those 20 million people, legal citizens who do not have ID, do not exist. They do not exist. We would see town halls on CNN if that group of people existed. The 20 million without IDs are illegal. That makes sense. Would you agree?
Rob, they need those 20 million votes to win nationally. Of course I agree, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's the worst-kept secret in politics.
I know,
that
dude.
These Democrats go out and virtue signal, and they act as if they've got some good moral compass, and that's why they need people to not have an ID to vote. It's obvious.
Yeah.
No, they know that it benefits them politically. They've all got the same talking points. It's, the Republicans are racist, and they're homophobic, and they're misogynist. It's the same thing. What is this poll at? 90% of all Americans support the idea that you need an ID to vote?
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the most agreed upon consensus issues in a time of complete polarization of politics. I mean, think about that. This is like the number one thing people agree on. They should get it done.
Yep. And it's going to happen. I'm optimistic, Cliff. I think that the Democrat Party is doing a death spiral into hell. Even Chris Cuomo the other day said that 80% of the Democrat Party wants voter ID or more, and that's 20% of bat guano crazy leftists and people who are in office who just want to keep the gravy train going. I've said this. I've said that our country is 80-20 on most things. We love our country and all of this. And I think we've got to stay energetic. We've got to overwhelm them with joy and patriotism. I use mockery, ridicule, and satire and let Donald Trump handle the ass kicking. There you go. I think that's a recipe for success. Cliff Maloney, what do you think, brother?
I think Rob Carson 2028. We got to get you in office after that speech.
Now, what I want to do, because I live in D.C. and I love me some Pennsylvania, and I will do everything I can to help out in Pennsylvania and Maryland and Virginia. But Clip Maloney, where can people help you guys out? Citizens Alliance.
Absolutely, Rob. Check me out on Twitter or X, just @Maloney. And if folks want to, go to doorswinwars.com. You can see all the projects we're working on. And if you want to help in PA, we would love to help. Appreciate you, Rob. Patriot, as always. Got a great audience, a great following.
Brother,
thanks for letting me come on today.
You are a warrior with us. We are at war, and you're with us, and we're going to have you on all the time this year because we're going to take those midterms, bro. Have a glorious weekend, okay, buddy?
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. He's good. I love it. I'm just so lucky. I got to talk to people like that. It's cool. Ernie said to turn your motor off and stay a while. Okay. I'm not sure what that means. Voter integrity is an individual voter thing, too. Yeah. You've got to prove your citizenship. That's all. Because you don't have a right to vote unless you're a citizen. Duh. Let's see who we got over here on the Facebookage. Darnell, what up, Darnell? Good to see you again, American Marseille. Good to see you again, Duckman. What is up? Baltimore mayor broken septic lines filling the Potomac, and where is the eco-wackos? Yeah, where are the environmentalist wackos? As Rush Limbaugh used to call them, the environmentalist wackos. Maybe it's because they're full of crap themselves. You ever think about that? Maybe that's the thing, is that they're full of crap themselves. Hello, Kathy. Hey, Rob Carson, overwhelm them with love. Yeah, a little bit of that, too. Not afraid to say that. Love, patriotism, positivity. Positivity. I think we're done. I'm just done. I'm done with all the negative. Really, really am. Really, really am. What am I going to talk about here? I got to talk real quick. Sorry. Vintage. Oh, nice. Mike Carter. 3.5. I got a couple things I'm going to do here, guys. Pardon me for being distracted. I have to focus on this. Here we go, kids.
Hot Hunter. John Hannity. Weekdays 3 to 6 on Talk Radio 680
WCBM, baby.
Yeah, about 340 here.
Dig it.
Post, but the president has a prepared speech on this issue that he prepares to deliver at the right time. Is that true? And does the Trump administration believe aliens are real?
That is Mike Carter of Newsmax asking Caroline Levitt. New York Post did a story, said that Donald Trump has a prepared speech about addressing space aliens.
Well, a speech on aliens would be news to me. That sounds very exciting, though. I'll have to check in with our speech writing team. And that would be of great interest to me personally, and I'm sure all of you in this room, and apparently former President Obama, too.
There you go. Absolutely. Yeah, Donald, or he thinks there's a space aliens, and he backtracked on it. There may not be space aliens, but he's certainly married to Bigfoot. Okay, here we go. The crazy cat lady of the day is a celebrity. She's Rosie O'Donnell. She sneaked back in the country from Ireland to dip her toes back in her. She left the country for no good reason other than to throw a temper tantrum.
It's worse every day. I feel like we're in a dystopian nightmare, and no,
it's all in your head.
Doing anything about it.
How could you need so much therapy? You're so rich, you don't have a care in the world, and you're nuts.
I don't understand how he's able to get away with the things he gets away with. Breaking the law, the emoluments clause.
Which one?
Taking bribes.
Really? What is he taking bribes? How's that?
Blackmailing people.
Blackmailing how?
He's a criminal con man. And if you grew up in New York, as I did, you knew this your whole life.
No, you didn't.
We watched his planes get repossessed off the runway at LaGuardia. We watched him try to sell steaks and cologne.
Yeah, he still does. He sells watches. I think about getting one, but it costs $500. I want one of those Trump watches. I want one of those, the red one. It looks real. I mean, and they're pretty cool watches, but they're like $500. So Rosie O'Donnell gets this today. Our crazy cat lady theme song. They're all white liberal women. Did you notice that?
Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're all Democrats. We call them Karens. They have a whiny voice. They are all pro-choice and mostly barren.
Yeah, they don't have husbands either.
They're cat ladies. Whoa, 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 they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost their minds. These Karens don't like ice. They often pay a price, mistakes they're making.
And they don't eat bacon.
Karenism is their curse. Could go to jail or worse for their law breaking.
Oh, that's a good rhyme too.
They're cat ladies. Don't have a child, they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who are out of their mind.
There you go. There you go. There's no other show in America that does this. You know that, right? I started writing for Rush Limbaugh as a kid right out of college and came up with stuff like this. And I got this guy named Jim Gossett. And it's just a part of the show. It's a part of the show. The show's about leading edge opinion. The show is about to guess. The show is about connection with you. And I share my life with you. You're not going to get another show like this. This is why it's growing. This is why it's growing. I didn't have a national syndicated show until like 6 years ago. And it's blowing up. It's blowing up across the country. Thank you for joining me, guys. I'm blessed to be here, and I will never let you down, I promise you. God bless America as founded. Donald Trump, what he's doing in the country to make it even better than ever. And of course, you guys. And until tomorrow, which is, by the grace of God, finally Friday, don't catch the stupid. See you then.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for